Hey guys, Sean here with Butler, and we're going to be doing part 2 of UX design. So if you missed part 1, go to the playlist and look at the first video in the playlist to figure out what is UX design. We talked about what it is, the definition, the benefits, why it's so important. And today, or in this video, we're going to actually talk about a strategy that I've incorporated at Butler. Now this strategy, this process, if you will, it's a 6-step process that works for me. At the end of the day, the whole premise or the whole goal of UX design is just to think about the users. How can we add value to them? How can we be of benefit to them? How can we increase and enhance their satisfaction in those 3 areas we talked about in the first video: usability, accessibility, and pleasure. And so again, this is a 6-step process that we found helpful for us. If it's helpful for you, please let us know in the comments below. But we do a 6-step process starting with first what I call a preliminary brainstorm. Now this session is typically the first interaction I might have with my clients. And so when I'm first getting to know them, I'm learning about their business, I'm getting a 30,000-foot view of their business, their organization, who are they as a brand, and then I quickly revert to, okay, who are your users? Who are you targeting? Who is interacting with your brand? And this is before we even agree to do business together, because I really want to know who it is that we're going to work with potentially. And so in this preliminary brainstorming session, we're asking questions like, who is your target market? Who else would be interacting with your brand? And so not only who are we targeting who could do business with us, but who else might be visiting your website, for example? Who else might be affiliated with your brand? Would it be partners, vendors, distributors, manufacturers, other people that you might want to interact with? Who are the users, not just the target market? So who is our target market? Who else would be interacting with our brand? What do they expect to see when they go to your website, for example? If we're talking about a web design, or if we're talking about a mobile app, or if we're talking about even a brochure design, what do they expect to see on this design that we're creating? So who are they? Who else would be interacting with our brand? What do they expect to see? What else could we, maybe they didn't expect it, but we want them to see it so that we can add this wow factor. So, hey, they didn't expect to see free resources that are going to benefit them, but we're going to wow them with this kind of information. So they expect to see our phone number and contact information, for example, but they didn't expect to see all this valuable content we're giving away for free, just as an example. And what actions do we want them to take? And so again, these are the types of questions that we'd like to find out from our clients even before we agree to work together, just so we could get a general idea of who the users are. And so I call this a preliminary brainstorming session. And then once a client agrees to do business with us, and we agree to do business with them, and we agree to some kind of design deliverables, then we have a discovery session. A discovery session is a much more comprehensive session with the client. Might take 3 to 4 hours, might take a couple of days, and then another week to follow up with the findings from this session. And during the session, we're doing basically the next 2 things, or actually 3 things. And so the first part is number 2, is user stories. Now, user stories, I split it up into 2 parts: personas and the user's journey. This is Sally, and I might put an actual picture of Sally, what I think Sally might look like. We'll name Sally, give her a user type. Is she a vendor? Is she a customer? If she is a customer, what type of customer? I remember doing this with a contractor who did high-end remodels. And so one of the user types was the Pinterest mom. And so she was really into Pinterest, and she wanted to redesign her whole house to look like Pinterest. And so we called her whatever her name was, and then we called her the Pinterest mom. And then we split up this user story into all these different sections: demographic, psychographic, their source, meaning how did they find us, their story, their challenges, there's the solutions that we can offer them, and then a testimonial. And so basically what we're trying to find out is, who are they? And so demographical information is just statistical information: age, sex, geographic location, income, marital status. Do they have kids? What does she do for a living? If she is a stay-at-home mom, just statistical information. Psychographic is rather how they think. So any kind of brand affinity. Is there a certain brand that she likes? What are her mannerisms? What personality type does she have? How does she sound? What is her voice, her posture, her tone? What are her hobbies? And so we're not only trying to figure out who our users are, but how our users think, so that we can clearly display a message that's unique or uniquely crafted to them. And so name, user type, demographic, psychographic, their source, this is how they found us. And we might just make up a story. If you're a brand new company and you don't have any kind of data to guide this, then you're using a lot of imagination, you're using empathy. But if you're a seasoned company and you have a lot of users or customers that you've done business with, then you can use actual statistics, data from your current users, and figure out, where did they find us? Was it from a Google search? Was it word of mouth? Was it at some trade show? Or where did our users initially find us? We're trying to figure out, how did they find us? Why are they inclined to engage with us? Why do they love and recommend us? And this is why I put this little testimonial section. And why would they refer us to their friends and family? And so we figure out their demographic, their psychographic, where did they come from, their story or their challenges, meaning their pain points. Why would they be interested in working with our brand or utilizing, engaging with our brand? What are the steps that led to them seeking out that kind of help? And what are the practical ways we can help them? What are the solutions that our brand offers to alleviate their pain or to add value to our users? And so when we do user stories, we're trying to look for areas of disconnect. We want to know who our users are, how they think, and look for areas of disconnect, meaning I might do 3 or 4 personas, or this is a persona in a user journey, but I might do 2 versions of the same user. So if this is Sally, I might say this is an actual story of how a user found us and their interaction with our brand. But if my customer support has really been sucking lately, Sally hasn't had a really good experience with us. And so I might put that down as a reality check for us, and then we'll do another one for Sally as an ideal, meaning the whole goal of the client coming to us is to increase or enhance the user's experience. If our user's experience was bad before, what does the ideal actually look like? And so we're looking for areas of disconnect that we can improve upon in our UX design. So we do our user stories, then we do a competitive audit. And so the competitive audit, we're basically just looking at your competition. I might look at the market share dominator. And so for an example, if I'm a coffee shop, I'm a local coffee shop, I might look at what Starbucks is doing in their website if we're thinking about a website design for our coffee shop. They are the market share dominator. I also might look at the more realistic competition, which is the coffee shop down the street, or a very successful local coffee shop maybe in another town. And this is a little bit more realistic. And the reason why we're doing a competitive audit isn't to see what we can copy, but we're figuring out what industry standards there might be, if any. We're seeing what has already worked, what may not be working. We're looking for gaps. Maybe our competition is missing a big piece of information or some kind of content that users would like to interact with, but they're missing it, and so we can innovate here. And so the competitive audit is really important because not only are we looking for ways we can innovate and fill gaps, but we're also looking for areas where we don't have to reinvent the wheel if something is already there, if something's expected from our users. So preliminary brainstorm, user stories, competitive audit, and then we go over here to step 4, which is the prioritization exercise. In prioritization, we talk typically about 3 areas: revenue, awareness, and efficiency. So the revenue exercise, this is where we're talking about different ways where money is coming into the brand from users. So is money being transacted between users and our brand? What are those areas? And again, we're looking for areas of disconnect and also areas of improvement. How can we increase the user satisfaction in these areas? Awareness, meaning the different channels and mediums where we're getting the word spread out about our brand to our users. Where are our users looking? And how can we be positioned in front of them? And efficiency. This is increasing the efficiency in our business deliverables. And so how can we properly manage expectations for our clients? How can we speed up the process? How can we give them the expected outcomes that they're looking for? And so we gauge, there might be several items in each one of these categories, and the way we prioritize it is based off of urgency and impact. So urgency is how quickly do we need to get this done, and impact is how negatively or positively will this affect our brand if we don't focus on this for our users? And so the prioritization goal exercise is super important for in the discovery session. Then we go to the requirements list. So basically steps 1 through 4 help us figure out step 5, the requirements list. A requirements list is just a list of everything that would be required to enhance our users' satisfaction based off of everything we've gleaned through the discovery session and building out the user stories, doing our competitive audit, preliminary brainstorm, and our prioritization. And so a requirements list could be things like, you know what, when we talked about Sally, she did not like to be inundated with tons of copy. She likes visual engagement. So maybe we should have a requirements list includes visual engagement. Also, we found out that Sally had a problem or a hard time figuring out who we are when she went to our landing page, and so we want to have brand identification kind of be prominent on a landing page. We also might need to have a clear call to action. Maybe Sally is kind of leery or cautious about working with brands that don't have experience, and so she wants to have social proof. And we just continue to build out this requirements list based off of everything we've discussed in this discovery session to figure out how can we best cater to Sally by increasing the satisfaction, usability, accessibility, and pleasure of her experience when interacting with our brand. And so that's building out the requirements list, and this helps us dictate our information architecture. Now, this again is video 2 of 3. In video 3, we're going to be talking about the art side of UX design. So right now, this is a strategy. This is a 6-point strategy talking about the science of UX design. These 6 steps, I ended on requirements list, and then that requirement list dictating the information architecture. In the next video, we're going to talk about how do you actually take this requirements list in light of everything we've discovered and lay this out in a way that's appealing to our users. So if you want to watch that, that's the next video.